Shalom. We just by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father in ancient Hebrew. Yahweh Shai is the true name of His only God and Son. The one is set out in the Apostle Great Millstone of will. Peace and salutations to the elected nation of Israel. The true Hebrew Israelites of the Bible are the so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans, as well as your Israelite foreigners that may look like the other nations but believe it's truth. This is Brother Shakal here with a video lesson um on how the bad guy never dies in the middle of the movie. And so people like Vocab Malone and Wacky Tacky Christians and uh E's Edomites, Evil E, the descendants of Esau, um they um try to come up with a narrative and a doctrine that Esau done away with, which that's a false doctrine. And so the bad guy never dies in the middle of the movie. That doesn't make any sense. Um, and the Bible is the wisest script. It's the best script. We're living a movie of Yahweh Bashem Yoshai, and Esau has been given the role of the bad guy, the Lord's left hand. Um, and so it just the bad guy wouldn't die in the middle of the movie. The people that the Lord hates, the vessel of wrath fitted to destruction, the wicked reserved to the day of destruction, they will fulfill. They will be the evil in the earth. Then that evil will be taken away. The good guy will win and the bad guy will pay. And the Lord Yahushua is coming back to take down Esau, who the bad guy. So it just makes perfect sense. Um, that Esau is still here in the prophecies. Um, the destruction of Edom is all in the end time prophecies. That's why it says in the Zondervan's, I wish I had it on me. I should have brought it with me. It says that Edom is the only neighboring city of Israel that has been shown no mercy of Yahweh Bashmi Shah. And I believe it quoted Isaiah the 34th chapter and Isaiah the 63rd chapter, which are two end time prophetic scriptures on the destruction of Edom. Um, but let me start with the book of let me actually go back to Genesis, because Esau would be the bad guy in the Lord's movie. Um, Shalom Alek, Bayan Yasharali, Yahal Bashim Shabakatel, Shalom, Shalom. To water for moving that gremlin. I don't know who that is, but to water. Um, if Lord, I didn't see your comment, if you're listening, just listen and learn. Let's go to Genesis. The 27th chapter. Concerning the blessings of Jacob and Esau. This is Genesis, chapter 27, and I started 34. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. And his father will be Isaac, the father of Jacob and Esau. So this is the beginning, the history of Jacob and Esau, who would become two major nations. Jacob would be the good guy, Esau would be the bad guy. Jacob is the progenitor of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Esau will be the progenitor of the so-called white people, who will be the wicked. Um, Reading on, verse 35, and he said, Thy brother came with subtlety and had taken away thy blessing, and it was meant to be given to Jacob, That's why the Lord made it happen. All men's goings are the Lord. And he said, "Is he not rightly named Jacob?" Which means supplanter, Yaquab in the Hebrew. For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He had took away my birthright, and behold, now he had taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. For what shall I do now unto thee, my son? Because Jacob was blessed with dominion. Genesis 25 said the elder would serve the younger. Esau is the elder; he would be the servants of the Israelites. Um, which that is about to be fulfilled in our kingdom, which is coming soon after Esau is taken down. Verse 38, and Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. So Esau was blessed with the fatness of the earth. And so right now Esau has the earth. The scriptures say the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Malachi 1:4 tells you that Esau, eating the so-called white man, is the wicked. And so Esau is in power today. He has the earth. He has the best things of the earth right now. But that blessing would only be temporary. And so Esau, is the main adversary against the Most High and His chosen people, the Israelites. And so the Lord set him up in power to show who the devil is, and to show his power when he takes Esau down, just like Pharaoh, like it says in Romans 9:17. So Esau is being done like Pharaoh. He's going to be great in power, and the Lord Yahweh is going to show his power when he takes Esau down. And there'll be a great deliverance to the children of Israel. Reading on, verse 40, and by the sword shalt thou live. And so Esau, another part of Esau's blessing would be the sword, and that clearly fits the so-called white man. He is raped, robbed, murdered with his weaponry the whole planet Earth. He's colonized the whole planet Earth, and especially God's chosen people, Jacob, the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. And Esau continues to rule with the sword. We've seen Hiroshima and Nagasaki drop the bombs. Esau got this all this weaponry, this modern technology weaponry, the nuclear missiles, the waster to destroy. With that nuclear destruction is going to come upon himself, and that's going to be the great destruction to Edom, spoken of Isaiah the 34th chapter. Then we'll keep reading. Genesis chapter 27, verse 40, and by the sword shalt thou live and serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And that happened in more ancient history. I forget what king that was under, but that was a point in ancient history. But the prophecy for the future of Esau's blessing would be that he would have the fatness of the earth, and that he would live by the sword. And so that is being fulfilled in these times with the beast system in Revelation the 13th chapter. This revised Roman Empire, the NATO, the EU, and America, Babylon the Great. And so that's Esau's temporary blessing. So that's the Lord setting up the bad guy in power, the wicked, whom the earth's hand will be given into for a time before his destruction. And so, the two blessings in Genesis 27 are the two main characters. Jacob, whose blessing it will be in the kingdom, God's chosen people, and then Esau, who is the devil, that old serpent from the garden. Cain came back as Cain, who slew Abel, came back as Esau, who's ruling now as the so-called white man, the sons of the wicked. So they would be set up in power in the end days, right before Jacob would rule. And they would have a hatred towards God's chosen people, showing you that they're the bad guy, which we're about to read. And they would rule by the sword. And it's good to say how Esau came up against our nation with the sword. But let's keep reading this. Genesis chapter 27, verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And so this gives you the setup for the hatred of Esau towards Jacob, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. So Esau has always carried that hatred towards us through through all these different rulerships, through the whole timeline of history, which is based on the Bible. And so in the ancient Greeks, Antiochus Epiphanes, Esau came up against us and raped, robbed, and murdered us and tortured us. Then what came up against us along with the Babylonians. Um, as we read in First Ezra, the fourth chapter, in Psalms 137, it said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof." Esau came up against us in the time of the Romans, the siege of 70 AD, and they put hell on us in that whole captivity. Um, and then Esau came up when he came up out of the bottomless pit in the Renaissance period, Revelation the 20th chapter. He that was the worst slavery ever seen on the earth known to mankind, and the main and it was mainly the children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. And so Esau is clearly that bad guy who ruled by the sword, had the blessing with the fatness of the earth, and he hated Jacob wherewith he was blessed. So Esau has carried that hatred and towards our people for eternity, and really it goes back to even back to Cain and Abel, even which Cain, Esau the wicked, slew Abel. And so Esau had that same perpetual hatred as the scriptures say. And Shalom, belong to the salvation of the elect, Yahweh Shabbat, Shalom, Shalom. Um, let's read it again. Genesis chapter 27 and verse 41. "And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him." And so Esau has the hatred towards Jacob, showing you that he is the bad guy of the Lord's movie. Um, and Jacob obviously will be the good guy, God's chosen people throughout the whole Bible. Um, Deuteronomy 7 and 6, 2nd Ezra 5, 2nd Ezra 6, the chosen, Romans the 9th chapter. It's all over the scriptures. The Old Testament, the Apocrypha, and the New Testament, that Israel is God's chosen people. There's no getting around that. Um, and that Esau is the bad guy is also all over the scriptures. But let's keep reading on. "And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob." So Esau has always wanted blood against us. He always wanted to get us to murder us. So Esau carried that hatred and that mentality for his whole existence. Um, the scriptures was speak about when he came into power as a leper, the Greeks, the four beasts, the Romans, in this modern day beast system, the revised Roman Empire, the NATO and the EU. Um, and so Esau carried that hatred towards God's chosen people, the Israelites. Said he hated his brother wherewith he was blessed. So setting up the fact that Esau would be the bad guy in the movie. Back to Genesis 27, when the man Jacob and the man Esau were on the scene, getting their blessing by Isaac, which Jacob supplanted the blessing, rightfully so, because it was rightfully Jacob set up through the Spirit, because you had the first fruits uh, with the Lord of Israel, 144,000 set up before the earth was even the foundation before the foundation of the earth. So it's always meant for Jacob to rule. That's why the Lord Yahweh sprang out of Jacob of the tribe of Judah. If the Israelites weren't the chosen people, why would the Lord be of the tribe of Israel? So the blessing rightfully goes to Jacob, um, which would be the world dominion. So Esau gave all that away for a morsel of meat, showing you further that he's the bad guy. As it says in Hebrews 12 and 16, and 17. Let's go. This is Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5. Um, "Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, and the time that their iniquity had an end." So Esau has had a perpetual hatred towards the children of Israel. So, and that goes back to that Genesis 27, where we read Esau hated his brother Jacob, or what he was blessed. So Esau hates us. Now let me actually start up on this and read down. This is Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 2. "Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it." And Esau is the man connected with Mount Seir. Um, and so what we're doing now is we're prophesying against Esau and his main kingdom is America, the modern day Mount Seir, where Esau's main hub. Um, and the architecture actually goes back to Mount Seir. These Roman pillars, it really goes back to Mount Seir, showing you that these are the Edomites. The devil that the Bible speaks of, the wicked, who would rebuild and the Lord Yahweh would throw down. Um, and so we're set up to prophesy against Esau. Genesis 36 says Esau is Edom and Esau dwell in Mount Seir. So this Mount Seir is connected to the Edomites, showing this chapter is going on Esau. The Son of Man set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. That's what we're doing now. We're setting our face against this place and we're prophesying the downfall of the Edomites. The righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of our labors. And then the strangers of our salvation will come, of the elect. Verse 3, and say unto her, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Shah power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee. I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Shah. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. And so Esau, who would rule Mount Seir, um, has a perpetual hatred towards us Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. So it's showing you that Esau, that main enemy, Esau the bad guy, and the Lord Yahweh would destroy his kingdom and take him out of power. It's showing Malak Isaiah, Ado, Yahweh Shabbat, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. And so the Lord's preparing to that great slaughter for Esau, as we read about in Isaiah the 34th chapter. And so showing you that Esau will be set up as the bad guy in the Lord's movie, and the bad guy never dies in the middle of the movie, showing you that Esau is still here today. And seeing that he's such a prominent character in history and in prophecy, based on Esau's blessing and the fact that he has that perpetual hatred towards the children of Israel, he will be the end of the world. The earth will be given to his hand, the hand of the wicked. That the prophecies of his destruction um would be very notable. And it will glorify Yahweh Bashim Shah, pursuant to Romans 9 and 17. Esau are going to be done like Pharaoh. So clearly, these prophecies are not happening yet. This great destruction of Edom has not taken place yet. We're in the end of this devil's blessing, and that's why we're prophesying as we would set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Um, and so let's read verse 5 again. Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, and the time of their calamity, and the time that their iniquity had an end. So Esau has a perpetual hatred towards his children of Israel, showing you he's the bad guy of the movie, the Edomites, the red man, the so-called white people who are really red. Is one token that they're the Edomites and they're still here today. Um, the uh, the red horse that took peace from the earth, there was given unto him a great sword, and they killed one another. That's clearly the so-called white man, and we just read his blessing of the sword, and that's Revelation 6 and 4. Those who will grab that one, but it said a perpetual hatred. So, so Esau has always hated us. And it even goes back to Cain and Abel. When Cain slew Abel, Esau is Cain. Um, let's read that again. Genesis chapter 27 and verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. So Esau has that perpetual hatred against us. And the Lord Yahweh Shad would take vengeance on Edom um for that for that for what he has done to his chosen people. And so that's what Ezekiel 35 is going into. We'll read it again. Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, and the time of their calamity, and the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, say the Lord Yahweh shall power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. And so and so that so that great destruction is being prepared for Edom. Um, I'll keep reading down. A couple more. Verse 7. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men, and in thy hills, and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. And so, and that's in Ezekiel 39. All these dead bodies are gonna be present in once the New Jerusalem comes down, the elect of Israel from being delivered in the fathership when the Lord Yahweh Shah comes back. We're gonna be Lord's will that number, but the elect are gonna be taking slaves of the heathen and the top Bengali families of Esau, and making them bury them dead bodies. So read that verse 8 again. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men, in thy hills, and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. And so Esau, there's gonna be all them dead bodies, and Esau's system gonna be destroyed. And then again, the Ezekiel 39 goes into them the elect taking slaves of the top Bengalites in these heathen and making them bury them dead bodies. And so that's all gonna happen in the destruction of Esau's kingdom. And from there, we're gonna go to Isaiah the 34th chapter. Let's start at verse 1. Isaiah chapter 34, verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. So this is the message. Verse 2. For the indignation of the Lord Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. And the slaughter is talking about Armageddon, World War III. All these nations are going to be gathered to the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh Shaphat in the Hebrew, the Most High judgment, and they're going to take part in their slaughter. So the Lord's not with these nations. He's not with these heathen and their nations and their militaries. It says specifically that he's against them and has delivered them to the slaughter. Verse 3. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. This World War III is going to be the war to end all wars. As the scripture says in Isaiah 9 and 5, war with flaming and fuel of fire. That's going to bring an end to Esau's kingdom. Verse 4. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. The heavens rolled together as a scroll. That's the nuclear mushroom cloud. Like it says in Revelation, the 6th chapter, it said the same thing. How the heavens are rolled together as a scroll. And so that's another point that if Isaiah 34 is the destruction of Edom, said the same thing as Revelations, which was Apostle John on the Isle of Patmos in the Roman Empire, that's showing you that Edom was not done away with before the Roman Empire. That these prophecies were future prophecies. Because why would Apostle John be seeing the same destruction of Edom when the heavens were rolled together to scroll, that mushroom cloud? Because it would be a future prophecy. And I'll read that real quick to show you, prove that point. This is Revelation chapter 6 in verse 13. They'll start at. And the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. So this isn't talking about stars or figs. It's Apostle John seeing the missiles and described it like the lights falling from the earth. It said them stars of heaven fell into the earth, and it like figs from the fig tree. So it's spiritual. It's talking about the missiles, and that mighty wind is that nuclear destruction. So read it again, Revelation chapter 6, verse 13. And the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. So it's a nuclear destruction of Edom. Verse 14, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. And so what do we just read in Isaiah 34? That the heavens departed as a scroll, roughly paraphrased. So Esau's destruction, that's the nuclear mushroom cloud. So then the heavens departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. So it's going to be a destruction like never seen before. The earth is going to reel to and fro like a drunkard. And it puts a name on it, on who the main people of this destruction is for in the next verse. But we'll read verse 4 again. Isaiah chapter 34, verse 4. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. So it said the same thing in Revelation the 6th chapter. So these vocabs and these wacky-tacky Christians can't get around this destruction. It's future prophecy. Um, And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as a leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. What's that sword? That's the nuclear missiles, and we read Esau was blessed with a sword. Um, and who does it say is that sword going to destroy? It shall come down upon Idumea, and that's another way of saying Edom. So showing you this is the future destruction of Edom. This is finally how the movie goes. That the Lord, the bad guy, it looked like the bad guy will be in power. It looked like he would get the upper hand, and then his destruction will come. So Esau is not done away with. So that's the title that the bad guy never dies in the middle of the movie. This destruction is not was not in any other time, but right now. But this future destruction that we're upon these days right now. We'll read this again. Isaiah chapter 34, verse 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. So that's another way of saying Edom. It's the so-called white people, the Esau, the devil. So that sword, that nuclear missile, is going to destroy Esau. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down, as a leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. It's so showing you that Esau is the bad guy, and that destruction will come to him in the end times with that nuclear missile, and the heavens will depart as a scroll. The mountains and the island will be moved out of their places. The same thing in Revelation, the 6th chapter we just read, showing you that destruction is a future destruction. Um, and it's that own sword that Esau was given that was taken down. We'll go back to Revelation chapter 6 and read verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red. The word Edom in the Hebrew means red, Adawam, because Esau, and it's good to say Genesis 25 and 25, that Esau came out red all over like a hairy garment. And so the so-called white man looks red. Um, um, he does not look white. That white is a lie. The whole term's white and black. That's just something that Esau made up to control the narrative and the viewpoint of the people to make the Israelites look bad and the Edomites look good, even though they're the devil. But that's more wiles, more tricks of the devil. That the elect is not deceived by and is breaking them strongholds. But read this again, Revelation chapter 6, verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red, so that is connected with Edom, showing you Edom is connected to end time prophecy. This is his blessing of the fatness of the earth and the sword, and his beast system in Revelation the 13th chapter. This is the bad guy being set up, the devil being set up in power that came up out of the bottomless pit. So then there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. It's good to say he made the world the wilderness in Isaiah the 14th chapter, um, which happened through Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Esau dropped the bombs on Japan. Um, there was nuclear bombs. It's good to say he made fire fall from heaven onto the earth. The same thing, the nuclear bombs being dropped from the planes from the sky in destruction. So Esau did nothing but rape, rob, and murder with his blessing the sword, and he would fulfill his blessing the fatness of the earth as well, which was the blessing we read in Genesis 27, which will be a temporary blessing, and then Jacob's blessing will come into play. Um, so let's read this again. Revelation chapter 6, verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they shall kill one another. So Esau has always been against himself. Back in the ancient Greeks, they was always warring against each other. You had the Diadochi Wars between Alexander the Greek's four generals, Seleucid. Well, you mainly had the Ptolemies and the Seleucids, but the four generals were Seleucid, Ptolemy, Lysimachus, and Cassander, and so Esau always been fighting against each other. Then you had the World War One, then you had the Revolutionary War, the Spanish American War, the French American or French Indian War. I might have the name wrong, Slovakia. But Esau has always been fighting against each other. The scriptures say, "A house divided cannot stand," in Mark the 3rd chapter. showing you that Esau is divided, and so his system would eventually fail. And we're prophesying the downfall of that system. Um, so this is going into Esau's reign of terror and his blessing, which would ultimately bring his end, because we read that sword shall be bathed in heaven and come down upon Idumea. So read this again, Revelation chapter 6, verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red, Edom, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And that's what Esau did through his blessing the sword. And he would get his blessing the fatness of the earth, and they should kill one another. And just explain that Esau always been fighting against each other, even since the Greeks, that leopard. And there was given unto him a great sword. And so that's his blessing. Esau is blessed with the sword. In Genesis 27, that red man, Edom. And so, Edom in the Hebrew. And that sword, we read in Isaiah 34, that sword in its perfection will be the nuclear missile to waste you to destroy. So that sword would be bathed in heaven and come down upon Idumea, the people of the Lord Yahweh Shah's curse to judgment. And so Esau was given that great sword so that his destruction could happen. Esau took peace from the earth. That red man came back into power in these times since the Renaissance period. And this is what we're living in. This is why we're living in hell, because Esau, the devil, is in power. When the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. The scriptures say Proverbs 29:2. And so we're seeing the fruits of this of wicked rulership. That's why colonization happened. That's why Esau ruled with the sword. That's why lies are pushed in why you have children being a missing children. Um, Everything against the laws of the Bible is being exalted. Um, because this is Babylon the Great. This is this wicked kingdom, the daughter of Babylon, the with the cup of the abominations and the fornication, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Or everything wicked would come from Esau's rulership, and he would also rule with the sword. So he would push wickedness. He would enslave the nations, mainly the children of Israel, because he had a perpetual hatred towards us. He would be blessed with the fatness of earth, the sword, which he would rape, rob, and murder all four corners of the earth with the sword. It would be to the point where he had nuclear missiles to make fire come down from heaven, make the world a wilderness, took peace on the earth. He would put lies, if I didn't say that already, because he would cover the faces of the judges thereof. And then lies would be put to a stop. That man of sin will be revealed by the prophets, the elect of Israel coming back, prophesying the downfall of this man's system to his face. And then his destruction will come, because Esau reserved to that day of destruction. And then the Lord Yahweh will come take this man down and redeem his elect to Israel, who would be prophesying and believe and endure this persecution. And then we be set up back in our own land. Then that's how the movie always ends. Is the good guy always wins. It may look tough because there's gonna be a persecution. Esau gonna get the upper hand, but it's good to say the devil shall come down with great wrath because he has a short time. Then that great destruction, the heaven's gonna depart as the scroll. That sword is gonna be bathed in heaven and come down upon Idumea, and the elect will be delivered, and a new Jerusalem gonna come down, and Yahweh Shah will be glorified and feared, and Israel's kingdom will take place. And so that's gonna be that's gonna be how the movie plays out. You had the beginnings, Genesis 27 and 25, 27, where Esau and Jacob got their blessings. Esau fulfilled his blessing. The devil, he did what a devil does. It's gonna say a perpetual hatred toward the Israelites, and went over the wicked things he done. And then he would be in power, and then the good guy Jacob would get persecuted. We went through slavery, and we're gonna go through that persecution. The prophets will happen. We're setting our face against Mount Seir, and then and then right at that last moment, it's good to say the righteous shall scarcely be saved. Um, and when Esau is filling his belly, he shipping these people to New World Order, then shall Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain upon him while he's eating. And this devil shall come down with great wrath, because he knows he has a short time. Revelation 12 and 12. And so Esau is gonna be destroyed right at that last moment. The elect will be delivered, and that translation of kingdoms is gonna take place. So I meant to grab this scripture on 2nd Esdras. And then the good guy will win forever. Jacob's kingdom, the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and rule forever. So we're about to we're at the end of the bad guy in the movie. which is Second Ezra chapter 6, um, Second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world. He's in his blessing now. He's in his power, this beast system. Read all the things that he's done, all the wickedness. So the bad guy will be ruling at the end. Then what would happen? And Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. And so Esau is ruling at the end times, and Jacob would rule right after. And we read the blessings that will be set up that go right with the second Ezra 6 and 9. The blessings of Genesis 27. How Esau is blessed with the fatness of earth and the sword. He will be the end of the world, that red horse that took peace from the earth, kill one another. He was given that great sword. Then that great destruction will happen, and Jacob will be the beginning of it that followed. And Jacob will get his blessing, where his mother's sons will come down to bow unto him. His brethren will be his servants. Jacob's going to have the dominion at the end of the day. The saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. It shall not be given to other people. And it makes sense because that Daniel 2 and the Daniel 7, where at the end time, the feet and the toes is revised Roman system. The revival of the fourth beast of the little horn. Then the nuclear destruction is going to come, and the Lord Yahushua is going to come back, and the chariots, the clouds, the so-called UFOs. It's good to say, behold, he come over clouds. And the Lord Yahushua will deliver Jacob and destroy Edom. Which I think I'll close out here. So the destruction of the bad guy, and my phone's about to die, so Salak, I should have charged it more. So the bad guy never dies in the middle of the movie. The bad guy will do what he does. He has to make a name for himself. Esau he's making a name for. He's been making a name for himself in the past 400 years or so, and he's continued, and he still needs to make a name for himself without persecution to come down with great red. And so, the bad guy would always make a name for himself. So he's the bad guy, had the upper hand, and then there would be he would be destroyed. He would find himself, um, in a position of difficulty, and he would be destroyed. He would be revealed. The man of sin being revealed, it's like Scooby Doo came to mind. He's always revealed. You meddling kids, because the prophets, the man of sins being revealed. Second Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3. But let's read this, because the Lord Yahushua is coming to destroy Edom, our Savior, to deliver us from his hand. This is Isaiah chapter 63 verse 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? So the Lord Yahushua is coming to destroy Edom. When the Lord Yahushua comes back, his great return, his glorious and great return, he's coming back to destroy Edom and to an Edomite power structure. Esau is Edom. We read Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. So the Lord Yahushua is coming back to take Edom down, and coming to bring Jacob up. That's why Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. With dyed garments from Bozrah. This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. The Lord Yahushua is coming back with power and great glory in the fathership, the main chariot, with the holy host of the angels, even the archangel Michael, and the so-called UFOs. That speak in righteousness, mighty to save. So the Lord Yahushua is coming to save the elect from the destruction of Edom. The Lord Yahushua said, "Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah?" So the Lord is coming back to destroy Edom and then to save Israel from Edom, who's the bad guy who would have us in captivity. That Ezekiel 35, we read he had a perpetual hatred toward us. He on the ancient that was very heavily laid that yoke, and the daughter of Babylon. Edom rules the modern day Egypt. We were taken here in slave ships. This is the captivity under Edom. The scripture say, "He that lead into captivity shall go into captivity." And the Lord Yahushua is coming to establish that judgment. And the Lord Yahushua bringing that judgment. The heathen of the Lord Yahushua's inheritance, the elect will be joint heirs with the Lord Yahushua. Verse 2, Isaiah chapter 63, verse 2, wherefore art thou red on thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. So the Lord Yahushua is parabolic for the Lord Yahushua coming back to destroy Edom in his system. He's not literally gonna have Edomite. It's lucky we're back. My phone died.